So didn't you tell me that you want to be up here at the apocalypse?
That's right.
The fucking machine gun.
Yeah, well, 50. We're gonna stack up the have-nots when it comes to the haves against the have-nots. What she's gonna do. What she's gonna do. What she's gonna do. We're gonna stack up dead bodies to right here. Right here. We're gonna shoot them down like the fucking dogs that they are. Like the fucking dogs that they are. I could kill people. I have no hesitation whatsoever about that.
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So, you guys seen the Dan Pena clips? I actually think he's serious when he says that kind of stuff. I don't think it's something that he necessarily is planning, but you can tell by the way he talks about it and the way he thinks that undoubtedly that's what a lot of these guys think. Now, I'm not bashing on billionaires, especially ones who were self-made like he was. And in fact, a lot of the things he says are quite motivational. He's a motivational speaker, if you want to call him that. He's got a lot of issues that are motivating him to be the best, to be the top dog, which stem from his childhood bullying and all the rest. And I'm not knocking the free market model, which I enjoy, but I'm just stating the facts here. The richest man on earth, as far as we know, Jeff Bezos, $112 billion. This is as far as we know, of course. There's speculation about various banking families who may be worth a lot more and keep their wealth secret. But that is speculation for the most part. What we know is the facts, and what we know is that the richest people on earth have become insurmountably more richer as they go by, and the discrepancy between the haves and the have-nots has increased. It's a widening divide, and it's showing no signs of slowing. In fact, it's only speeding up. One thing is for sure, though, as we reach this critical junction in human history that I've talked about before, where you have the economic bubble, you have the environmental bubble, you have the workplace automation bubble, you have the global tension bubble, you have the non-renewable resource depletion bubble, and in many cases you have the cultural bubble, which is at a total tipping point into complete dumbassery and debauchery. And I mean, Jackass was 20 years ago that movie was put out, and we're still going somehow. I don't know how, but we are still going. At this critical junction, you're going to have these individuals who are insurmountably rich. It's almost impossible to ever dethrone these people, or for them to ever really lose that much footing. Their wealth is now solidified. And I think right now what's happening is these guys are just milking it. I think the only one that's actually struggling with the decisions they make and how it's going to impact the future of the human race is Elon Musk. And I'm sure he has a lot of skeletons in his closet as well. So when I hear Dan Pena talking like that, with such deep-rooted conviction about the incoming battle between the haves and the have-nots, that's something to take seriously. I mean, you have to put yourself in the mind of a billionaire for a second. Wouldn't you start to see the police force in a different way? Wouldn't you start to see the people who really protected you from the overwhelming masses of people? I mean, if you were in this club of people who collectively, the top like 0.0001% have the equivalent of 50% of other people. I think it's something like 1,000 people have what 3.5 billion people have. They have the equivalent. What is standing in between those 1,000 people and the 3.5 billion people? There's a lot of things that are protecting them. There's borders, there's municipal, state, provincial, federal law enforcement, which essentially protects these guys from the have-nots. These guys have the most to lose if crap hits the fan. If grid goes down and they don't have their armies of bureaucracy and red tape to protect their wealth, the thought must occur to these guys that if things ever came down to the wire, they're going to be at the other end of a lynch mob. Now, I'm not condoning that or advocating that. I'm just saying that's probably what's going to happen. As we rocket towards automation and we rocket towards the robotics revolution, you have to wonder that if people like this, who are so misanthropic and have such a disregard for human life, how can you see anything but a dystopian society in the future if we continue along this trajectory? That is, if it doesn't all hit the fan first, which I think a lot of these guys know it is, because they're not doing anything at all to resolve any of the issues. The only one talking about any of these issues is Bill Gates trying to run around vaccinating everybody. And it's besides me as to why a billionaire tech guy would be so concerned with that as his philanthropic outlet when there's so many other things which are more pressing. You know, getting people education in third world countries, building schools. Undoubtedly, healthcare is an important part of taking a third world society to a second world to a first world society. Just seems like there's an obsessive amount of attention being paid to that one particular issue with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now again, I don't really care too much about the specifics. I don't care about the conspiracy. I don't care about the politics. I just care about the facts. You have a hyper concentration of wealth at the same time when the shit's getting really ready to burst at the seams. Put those two things together. Power is getting increasingly more concentrated in the hands of a few. Shit's ready to hit the fan. Now, while the rising tides of economic prosperity of this bull market, which has raged on for the last 7 years or so, while that's risen a lot of ships along the way, and while there has been some trickle-down effect, it's undeniable that the main people who are benefiting are those who are already at the top. These are the people who are going to be the arbiters of the future as to whether or not you get a voice. We've seen that happen already, where certain people have been silenced. People I don't necessarily always agree with, but at the same time, I would defend their right to have a presence in this new age of social media, which is not regulated, and which in many ways needs to be regulated so that the constitutions of the various countries would apply to it, whether it's a private company or not. So the next time somebody says that you're crazy for prepping, show them that clip of Dan Pena talking about what he's going to do if the crap hits the fan, and when it will hit the fan. Remember, he emphasized that it will, that it's going to. And I'm not saying the guy has a crystal ball. I know he's kind of a blowhard. I'm sure he says a lot of things and he doesn't always mean it. But this is the same guy who has a frickin' zoo taxidermied in his living room. He likes pulling the trigger on things which have no chance. He distinctly says that he has absolutely no problem offing his fellow human beings, and that when the crap comes down to the wire, he's not opening his castle gates to you. He's gonna mow you down with a 50 cal. So you can't make this up. I mean, you could make it up, but this is the idiocracy we're living in. And remember that this guy's a staunch supporter of Donald Trump. Now, I'm not trying to get political in this video, but I just want you to consider that for a second. Consider that. You better stay ready, folks, because the elites are, the governments of the world are, the militaries of the world are the biggest preppers out there. Every body and institution of significance invests copious amounts of disposable income, in many cases your tax dollar income, into preparedness, which is basically what defense spending amounts to, is preparedness. So invest in your future, start prepping, because all it takes is one day for shit to hit the fan. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out. The best way to support this YouTube channel is to support yourself by gearing up through CanadianPreparedness.com or BugoutRoll.ca. Premium quality gear at the best possible price using the incredibly secure and easy to use Shopify platform. We offer free shipping to the United States for orders over $200 USD and free shipping to Canada over $75. So support the channel by supporting yourself.